Hey, Matt Coast here. If you haven't heard yet, I just launched a new program called The Forever Man. And so I've had a lot of women ask me about the specifics of what exactly is in this program. And so I'm going to show everybody what's going on in this program. So if you have any questions about it or anything, you can check that out. And so after you purchase the program, you're going to go to our website here where you can click on the My Programs tab. And there'll be depending on how many programs you have, we have a bunch of programs. We have a bunch of programs. But the Forever Man will come up. It's a new program about attracting a man. About attracting a man. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Tech issues. All right, this is a program about attracting the man that you want into a committed, lasting relationship, a relationship where he sees you and he values you and he cherishes you. And so this is what the website looks like when you get into the members area. And we talk about a lot of stuff. This is the new flagship program that I have. So everything that I talk about in my other programs, I go into deeper depth here. If you haven't seen it, if a guy pulls away, you can get the forward text message. I go into detail about what that is and how to use it and what to do if he doesn't show up. I talk about the power phrase that women have used in our community to get a guy to commit when he wasn't sure, or he was kind of he wasn't interested in commitment, or he wasn't ready, or any of that kind of stuff. You can use the power phrase. It's a 15-word phrase. The forward text message has done a lot of really cool things too. It's designed to get a guy's attention, and women have used it. I actually just got a message from a woman a couple of days ago where she said that she's used it on like 8 different guys, and she said it's worked on every single one of them that she sent it to. Apparently she has a lot of guys who pulled away, and she sent the forward text to them, and it's gotten all their attention and kind of re-entered her back into their lives and dating them and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know what you're going to do with 8 guys, but there you go. And then there's the stranger text, which is a text if a guy ghosts you, completely disappears, ignores you, what to send him for that. We've had women use that and get back into contact and start dating guys again from that, right? Because a lot of times when guys will ghost, but they ghost because of a whole bunch of different reasons, right? It could be that he has some other priorities come up in his life that were emergencies that he had to take care of. It could be that he thought that you weren't really interested in him. It could be that he wasn't really that into you. But you never know unless you send him a message and find out. And some women are like, well, isn't that chasing? Isn't it chasing if you send a guy a text message after he's pulled away or he's ghosted you or whatever? And the answer is no, it's not, right? Sending one text message to somebody is not chasing. If you are always the one who's initiating text messages, if you're always the one reaching out, you're always the one setting up dates and planning them and driving to him and doing all that, that's chasing. When you're doing the majority of it and he's doing very little, that's chasing. Just sending one text message is not chasing. I also have a meditation in here. It's called the Queen's Meditation. It's about helping you change your own perspective on yourself, and it's about connecting with this archetype, right? We use the word queen and goddess and high value woman and all these different things, and some women are kind of confused about it. There's some questions about it. Really, we do that so that you can embrace and embody these different kind of archetypes that are out there, these different identities that you can take on. And the Queen meditation that I have in this program is about connecting with that queen part of yourself so that you believe in your value. You're coming from this place where you know that you're deserving and worthy of the kind of relationship that you want to have. And so we have that meditation in there so you can listen to it. I recommend listening to it every single day, at least for 30 days. That way you really kind of get into the habit of connecting with those emotions of a woman who really values herself and really knows her value and isn't going to settle for anything less. We talk about jealousy. So it's called Taming the Jealousy Monster. If you have a lot of jealousy, then you this is what you should do about it, right? There are some specific techniques if you run into jealousy, and I get it, right? I think most people, I've run into some people out there who don't experience jealousy ever, but that's very, very rare. Most people experience some level of jealousy in their life. And this is how to deal with that jealousy that you might have when a man is doing something, or there's another woman in the picture, or there's something there where you're just getting jealous and you're kind of ruining things with a guy because of that jealousy. This is how to pull yourself out of it. And again, if you want to check out the program, there should be a link above or below this video to go check out the Forever Man program. You can go check that out. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask those questions with me here. Hello, everybody. We've got some people here. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. We're just talking about the Forever Man program. It's a new program that I recently released, and we're talking about what's going on inside that program. If you have any questions, I'll answer your questions at the end here. Just wanted to, there's been a few women that have asked me, like, what exactly is in this program? How is it going to help me exactly? I go over something that I call the commitment formula. And the commitment formula is all about connecting with a man in a way that makes him see you as a woman that he wants to be with for a long-term committed relationship, and what to do if he to find out, is he commitment ready? How do you know from the beginning whether a guy is interested in commitment or not? When should you commit to a man? When should you be exclusive? When should you hook up with a guy? I talk about different things. This is actually probably should be in the other module, but connection cycling is really this concept about connecting with a man in a way that makes him really value and appreciate you in a way that most women don't do, right? Most women smother men, and connection cycling is about evening that out so that he feels kind of this pull to come towards you and pursue you and chase you, and it drives up his emotional desire for you and attraction for you. It's really, really powerful. The golden mirror is this technique that you can use to connect with a man's heart and make him see you as a woman that make him feel closer to you than anyone else in his entire life. Most guys out there, believe it or not, don't really have a support system. And so this is a 3-step conversational technique. I'll tell you exactly what to say to connect with his heart and show him that you're not only on his side, but that you see him, that you love him for who he is, and that you can see who he's becoming in his future, and you support him in that. And basically what it does is it makes him addicted to your validation and your approval and your connection, which may sound a little manipulative and like gamey or whatever, but it's actually really powerful. You can use that actually with friends in your life. You don't even have to just use it with a man. But honestly, I think everybody should connect with everybody else in this way, because it's so powerful. And I've seen guys just break down and cry when women have used this on them. I've actually seen it in person live. Guys just crying and stuff because they just felt so touched and moved by a woman saying these things to them. What does it take for a man to commit? How do you know? What does he need in order to commit? How do you deal with toxicity in a man, right? Spotting a man's toxicity quickly and early, and what to do to make sure that you don't get into a toxic relationship. But if you do get into a toxic relationship, how do you address that as well? And so I talk about that in this video. So if a man is, or your relationship is toxic, what do you do about it? How do you heal from that? How do you heal the relationship from that toxicity? And can you heal the relationship from that toxicity? I talk about that. I talk about when you should leave a relationship and if you should leave a relationship, creating shared experiences. This whole communication secrets section is all like what to say to a guy. So people that love words and phrases, which I know there are plenty of women watching this right now that love words and phrases. What do I say to him? What do I text him? Well, this whole section is all about that. What do you say to a guy to connect with him, to build two-way trust so that he trusts you and you trust him? Communication blueprint. So how do you like what is his blueprint for how he wants to communicate and connect? It's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of men and women make, is they think that the other person's, the way that they want to communicate is the same as them, and it creates like a lot of immediate friction and pain and breakups because of it. What does obsessive love and attraction look like? Healthy, right? There's actually a formula for obsession that exists every time you're ever like really super attracted, totally in love with a guy. This exists. It exists in every single situation. Whenever a guy is totally in love and just obsessed with you, this exists every single time. This is the formula for obsessive love and attraction. And if you're like, well, that's a little bit too much for me, Matt, I also talk about authentic love and attraction in this video as well, and how to create that if you're like, it's too much for me, right? And again, if you want to check out the program, there should be a link above or below this video, depending on where you're watching this from right now. Hello, people. Hello. Did you just say shout poo? Poo? Po? Shout po? Shout poo? I'm not sure what's going on there. Congratulations to my new program. Thank you. Thank you. Marity wants me to sing to her. Well, I don't know about all that. Interessante. Or is that interessante? Interessante. Yeah. Joyce says, if you have to do this much work on a guy, then he's not the one for you. It's one of those things where, hopefully you don't have to do all this stuff with a guy. Hopefully what it really is just learning skills, right? Most people don't have any idea how to connect with another person. That's that's what's mostly going on, especially in romantic relationships, right? What is it? What's going on? Like, that's what's going on right now in the dating and relationship world, is nobody has a clue what's going on, and everybody's toxic and broken, and they don't know how to connect with each other, and they're scared of each other, and they're like, is this person just want to hook up, or I don't know what's going on. And so this program is about helping you figure out all that kind of stuff so that you can navigate the dating and relationship world and just skip all the nonsense and attract the right guy to you and connect with him in a way that makes him just absolutely love and crave and adore you. And that's really what this is about with the Forever program. Fiqui says how to get hold of the program. There should be a link above or below this video that you can click on to go check out the program if you want to check it out, Fiqui. And it's called the Forever Man. The Forever Man. It's a great program. Great program. I'm going to go over some other stuff here. So creating perception. So perception is a big thing that I talk about in this program that I don't normally talk about on live streams or videos or stuff like that. It's kind of my secret sauce that a lot of women use. And I talk about how to use it in videos and stuff, but I don't talk about what it is and like the in-depth parts of it. and how to use it on a whole scale, right? But it's by far the most important thing that you can think about when it comes to connecting with a guy and how a guy sees you, right? If you want him to see you as a valuable, amazing, beautiful, just awesome woman that he wants to be with forever, that's his perception of you. And so that's what I'm talking about, and how to create perception, or how to break perception. Because a lot of women have this problem where they date guy after guy after guy, and those guys, they seem like they don't ever want anything real with them, or they don't want a real relationship, or they only see her as this like casual fling, or the woman that they want to date while they're actually looking for the woman that they want, and all that kind of stuff. And so how do you break that perception? How do you break that image that a man has of you, and have him see you as a woman who's incredibly valuable, which is what I talk about with the value frame right here, and what mindsets you need to do, how to replace the old patterns, how to replace the old image with a new image of who you want to be and what you want to be seen as from him. I talk about this idea of being sacred, which I do talk about in some of my videos and whatnot. Investment, how to communicate your value. I go over word for word scripts on how to connect with a man so that he sees you as this amazingly valuable woman. And I don't talk about this stuff in any of my other programs or any of the videos that I've done before on anywhere. Actually, the only time I've ever talked about this stuff is with my private clients and some of my high ticket seminars that I've done. High value behavior. What does high value behavior look like, and how can you connect with a guy through high value behavior? And for all of you personal development nerds out there, this section is really for you. The foundation section. This section is about how to create a foundation within yourself of knowing what attraction and love is, knowing that you can get the relationship that you want, focusing on building your reality, right? Because that's really what a lot of this stuff is about, is what reality do you come from? What are the frames and the beliefs and the setup that you come from? Because that is so important long term. A lot of women just want the words and phrases, which are great, right? They're great. But what are you going to do when you run out of words and phrases, right? Come back to me for some more words and phrases? Well, it's better. You can do that, but there's going to be a lot of downtime and stuff. And it's better to actually have a foundation within yourself so that you don't need words and phrases. They just come out of you naturally. That's what all the words and phrases are things that have worked for women in the past, where it's come out of them naturally. And so this is about that, right? I talk about attracting the man you want. This is the attraction formula, and using that formula to attract a guy who really loves you and cherishes you and wants to be with you forever. And so that is the program in a nutshell. That is the program in a nutshell. Fikwi says, yes, everyone is all messed up. It is true. Everybody is all messed up. Hi. Thanks for the message. Okay. Hello. Thank you for congratulating me. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask the questions in here. Joy says, how much is this program? Well, go check it out, Joy. You can just go click on, there should be a link above or below this video right now that you're watching. Just go over there and check it out. You can learn everything that you want to learn about it on the sales page. It's not a video. There's no video on the sales page. It's just a text-based page that you learn about the program on. Regina says, bring it. Yeah. Incredible. Lucia says, can someone share the link because it's not showing anywhere? I think you're on Facebook. Let me jump over to Facebook real quick, and I will share that link with you in case you just don't have it over there yourself. I will throw you that link. You can see it so brightly. Let's see if Facebook ever loads for me. We will see if Facebook gonna load for me. You have any questions? If you have any questions about anything, go ahead and post your questions, and I will get to them here in just 1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. So Joy, there should be a link in the description of this video. So just go into the description of the video and it should be there. Actually, here's the link. Let's see if it'll post. Here's the link. All right. Let's see. Fiki. How do I pronounce your name? Is it Fiki? Says, been talking to a man online. He is hot and cold and told him about it. And he is like he is busy with projects. Should I lean back? I have made it clear I'll back off if he is not interested. Well, I mean, you don't even need to say anything like that, right? A man's actions will tell you what's going on, right? I mean, maybe he has other projects and stuff going on. Maybe he's dating other women, especially if you're online, right? Most people who are online, they're dating other people online, and that's fine, right? That's what people are doing, and that's okay, right? And so, it might take some time for him to get to you. He might never get to you. He might not be interested. You don't know if you're talking to a man online. I wouldn't consider it hot and cold. I mean, yeah, maybe he's talking to you and then he's disappearing, then he's talking to you and he's disappearing. Just ignore all that nonsense, right? Fiki, what you want to be doing is you want to get into a world of abundance. You want to be in a place where, let's take this down real quick. You want to be in a place where you're not even worried. Right now, you're putting too much thought and energy into this dude, right? What you need to do if you're online is you just need to let the guys that show up, right? And if you've had enough of a conversation, right? If you've talked to a guy and you've had some conversation with him and you don't need to have a huge conversation with them. My suggestion is that you start by qualifying and screening them. And once you're done qualifying and screening them, which doesn't take very long, don't have like a long conversation with them. Don't try having this long conversation. Make it so that he has to meet up with you in order to talk with you anymore. And so all you want to do is just let him know that you'd love to meet up with him and that you're really busy, so you don't have a lot of time to chat right now. But if he wants to meet up, let you know, and you'll make some time to meet up, right? And so you don't want to spend all your time chatting with dudes online. That is a no-win strategy. You waste lots and lots and lots of time, and you don't really get very far with it. I mean, there are some things that you might want to know, which is why you use screening questions. You want to ask him questions about, who he is and what's going on with him, that one, frame you as a high quality woman who's in the position of deciding who's going to show up in her life or not. That's the number one thing that you want to do. And then you just want to have enough conversation to, see how weird he is or not, right? If he starts sending you weird stuff or not. And after that, you can do one of two things. Either one, my suggestion is that you meet up with him for a short meetup, just to talk to him, make sure that he's not a total creeper or anything. And or the other option of what you can do, and some women hate this, which is why it's optional, and that is you get on video chat. You can do like phone chat, like a phone conversation if you want to as well. But the best is video chat, because then you get to see what he actually looks like. You get to find out if, his pictures are from 10 years ago when he was 15 pounds less, or whatever the case may be. And you get to kind of hear his personality and hear him talk to you, because some people are really good on text, right? They're really good at messaging back and forth, but they suck in person. And some people suck at messaging back and forth, but they're great in person. And so the faster and more quickly you can kind of get into a real conversation with this person, the sooner you can find out whether you guys mesh or not, whether he's interesting or not, whether he's, 50 pounds heavier than his photos or not. And so that's, the only thing you can't really determine if you do video chat is whether he's lying about his height or not, right? Because lots of guys lie about their height online because, women are, that's one of their screening things. It's one of the most common screening things that women have online is that. And I actually talk about all the screening questions that you should ask, and some of the screening questions that you should ask in the Forever Man program. So check out the link that I posted. You can check out the Forever Man program. Here's the link again. You want to just check it out. It's not for everybody. It's only for women that want the best relationship that they've ever had in their entire lives, and all the communication secrets in order to have that. That's who it's for, right? Mandy says, nice to see you live. Well, it's nice to see you live, Mandy. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Brenda says, hi, Matthew, listening from Kenya. I'm going through something in my relationship. I really need your advice to know way forward. I'm confused right now. Well, why don't you ask your question there, Brenda, and we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Yeah, so Fiki says, yes, we did phone. Well, then you don't want to continue chatting, right? Because your next step is meeting up. And so you want to meet up. If you liked each other all over the phone, if everything was good over the phone, you want to meet up. And so you want to stop his messaging nonsense, right? Stop using Messenger, text messages, all that kind of stuff to build a relationship, and start focusing on getting to the meetup. And if he's not trying to meet up, then my suggestion is that you limit the amount of time that he can message you. Because if you limit the amount of time that he messages you, his only way to talk to you is to actually meet up. And that's the ideal scenario. If he's not going to do that, you should limit his access to you completely, right? And just let him know that you'd love to meet up sometime, but that you're really, really busy, and so you don't have a ton of time to chat. But you'll make some time if he wants to meet up. That is what you want to do. That's what you want to do, Shannon. That's what you want to do, Shannon. Thoughts and prayers. Bringing you my thoughts, bringing you my prayers, bringing you my thoughts and prayers. Yeah. Manny says, ugh, video chat. Oh, yeah, that's what a lot of women say, right? Because they get on video and they like realize that, they're like, oh, I don't look good on video. Just see me in real life, right? And the cool thing about real life is that you can hang out, you can spend time together, and you're like smelling each other's pheromones and stuff. Hopefully he's not getting too close, because you don't want him too close yet. You don't know that man. You don't want that creeper close to you. So he better back his butt off until you guys know each other better before you start sniffing your pheromones and stuff. But yeah, when you're in person, you get to sniff each other's pheromones, and you see each other's energy. You see that masculinity, and he sees that femininity that you got going on, your femininity. And then you guys see each other, and you talk, and you fall in love, and you're like, Yeah. And he's like, Mandy, I love you. I want to spend more time and see how amazing you are. Yeah. Yeah. That's what he's doing. That's what you're doing. That's what you do when you meet up. That's what you do. Joy says, I've been chatting with this one guy since March, just recently, maybe 2 weeks, having heard from him at all, never met. He already said he loved me. I don't take anything too personal. Well, I wouldn't believe a word that man says. Okay. That if he hasn't, I mean, if you've been chatting with a guy, since March, and he's telling you that he loves you and you haven't met him, I mean, here's my suggestion. Never emotionally invest in anybody that you haven't met yet. Just don't emotionally invest in them, because that guy could, I mean, who knows? I don't know if you video chatted him or talked to him on the phone or whatever, but he might be a scammer. You have no idea. And so you don't want to overly invest in guys that you haven't met, and you want to build abundance so that you're meeting lots of different guys, and the right guys will start coming up, and then you'll forget about these guys that are telling you that they love you even though they haven't ever met you before. It's not a good thing, Joy. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Not a good. Regina says, in your experience, do men from different parts of the world date differently, chase like to be chased? Well, there's cultural differences, right? So if you're in the West, like say that you're in the West, right? In the West, there's, especially right now, specifically in America, there's a lot of women that are now like taking on the masculine role in relationships. And so they are chasing men, like straight up. They're approaching men, they're calling men, they're texting men, they're going, hey, why don't we meet up and let's meet up and go do this, right? And then they lead everything, they pay for themselves, and then they, and they're like hooking up on the second date, first and second dates, right? That's what's going on in America right now, in a lot of places in America. In like Western Europe, it's a little bit different depending on which country that you're in, but there's a lot of kind of, in some countries, like Norwegian countries, there are a lot of women that, I mean, that's what's expected from the women there, that they like go and approach dudes and stuff. I've talked to men and women from Norwegian countries, and it's really, really interesting, some of the dynamics that they talk about there. If you go to the East, or you go to the Middle East, or you go to some of the more traditional cultures, they're like, men are typically supposed to chase women, right? If you go to like a lot of Eastern European countries, you'll see men, and you like talk to women there, and they're like, yeah, what normally happens is a guy meets me and then he chases me for 3 months. And then at around 3 months, I kind of reluctantly accept him into my life. And then we get into a relationship, and it's just one-on-one. And, he takes care of everything. And that's expected. He pays for everything. He plans everything. He's the man, right? He takes care of stuff. And so, yeah, it's different. Do men in, for instance, America like to be chased? Sure. But it doesn't matter what a man likes, right? You have to realize there are cultural differences to how men and women interact in romantic situations in different parts of the world. However, none of that really matters ultimately, because there's a psychological principle that works no matter whether you're a man or a woman, no matter what you're doing. And it's called the investment principle. And I talk about it in the Forever Man program. You can check out the Forever Man program. There should be some links all over the place around here for the Forever. You can go check it out, the Forever Man program. It's my new program that I've been talking about, in case you're wondering about what's going on with that. And the point is that if he's investing in you, he's far more likely to grow an emotional attachment to you and feel like he doesn't want to let you go. And if he's investing in you, he's far more likely to continue investing in you because of something called commitment and consistency, which is an influence principle that was discovered by Robert Cialdini from Arizona State University. And such a nerd. So even guys in the West, in America, even if a guy's like, hey, I want you to chase me, don't do it. Don't do it. Even if you're in like one of those super liberal cultures where the women are kind of expected to be the masculine force now, don't do it. Don't do it. You're far more likely to end up heartbroken, right? You're far more likely to feel really invested and like you never want to let him go and like you're totally in love with him and all that kind of stuff. And at the best case scenario in one of those is that you build the relationship together, right? So if he's not chasing you and you're not chasing him, which you shouldn't be chasing him, but if he's not chasing you, what you want to do is build together, right? Make sure that the investment, especially early on, is mostly him and at the very least about half and half. And that's the only way that you can make sure that you're not getting yourself into a really bad situation. And so you never want to chase a man. It doesn't matter what they want or where they're from or what culture they're from. You never want to do it. Just don't do it. That's not, Regina, don't do it. Don't do it, Regina. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. So just don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do that. Manny says, so you're telling me there's a chance? Yep. Sarah says, he's online friend. I had a big crush on him since a long be right now. It just seems that he's not interested at all. Like sometimes or three days or 3 weeks without this is like, I feel like I'm trying to like transcribe hieroglyphics here. Sometimes 3 days or 3 weeks without hearing anything from him. I asked and he said he's okay. Well, just leave him alone, Sarah. Just leave him alone. If he wants you, he can come at you. 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 Hello. Fiki says, Matthew, he stays in other part of the world. I stay in other part of the world. Maritis just couldn't stop laughing. Hazel says, I once had a guy like that, hot and cold. I put him in the spot, went silent. Then he was calling and trying to reach out, but let it be because at this age, we don't want to play games when we can be adults. Yeah, exactly. And if you're serious about wanting to get into a committed relationship where man just cherishes you and thinks that you're just the most amazing, beautiful, fantastic woman that he's ever met in his entire life, make sure you check out my program. It's called The Forever Man. It's a new program, just released it, launching it right now. It's only available for a very limited time. So if you want to check it out, there should be a link above or below this video, somewhere around here to go check it out. One of my comments should have it in it. If you don't see it, here's the link again. The Forever Man. The Forever Man, a formula. Wait, no, that's it's a different program. Hold on. Hazel says, high quality people don't play no games and no stupidities. Ain't got no time for that. That's right. I agree with you, Hazel. Ain't got no time for that. Ain't got no time for that. Cheryl says, you make work so much better listening to you. Well, I'm glad that you are enjoying me at work right now, Cheryl. You are enjoying me. Sylvia says that she thinks I'm funny. Well, thank you. Joyce says, yeah, we part dogs. We sniff, rough. I'm not even sure what I'm talking about right? You're talking about right I'm not even sure what you talking about right now. Vicky says, Matthew, can I write you? I need to narrate the story. Wait, are you trying to write? Are you trying to get me to, I'm probably at some point here going to start taking questions from people and start doing videos about your questions just to answer questions because I just love doing this so much. But right now, there's no way to do that. But you can get my program. You want to check it out. You want to check it out. Let's see. What did I miss? What did I miss? Sarah says, please read my question. It's the third live, and I've been waiting a lot. Well, here you are. Gene says, what do you think about alpha beta theory? Some men claim they are alpha. If a woman is independent, wouldn't he view her as in her masculine? Alpha men seem to like to be in control, yet want their date to be independent. Yet when she is, it's counterintuitive to think to this way of thinking. Well, here's the thing about alpha beta, right? There's a whole bunch of different models out there, and you can pick any model you want to, right? It's kind of like personality types. So there's a book out there that's it's called Myers-Briggs, right? It's Myers-Briggs type indicator. There's a whole system around typing people into these 4 different categories, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good system. But there's another one called like the Big 5, right? And then there's like another one where it's like these 4 different kind of classes, and there's like different color codings and stuff like that. And then, there's so many of them, right? And so what you need to do is just pick things that make most sense to you. Alpha beta is something that I think is more valuable if you're on the men's dating side, and they do that because just like what we're doing here with like goddess or the forever woman or queen or high value woman, right? You take those and you're like, okay, I want to be this goddess. I want to be this high value woman. I want to be a queen. And you take that archetype and you put it on yourself and you go, okay, am I behaving like a queen right now? Am I behaving like a high value woman right now? Well, that's kind of the same with alpha beta for men in the men's dating side. And so a lot of guys are like, am I being an alpha or am I being a beta? Right. And an alpha is like a guy who takes charge and take no crap from nobody. Right. And he's this strong masculine man. That's the idea behind an alpha. And, you can go back to the animal kingdom and debate, whether alphas exist and all that kind of other nonsense or whatever. It's just an archetype. It's an identity that you can take on, and don't overly complicate things with thinking about it because it's not that useful. Right. And is it accurate? Probably not. It's almost certainly not accurate, right? Because you get into like, well, what if 2 alphas are meeting each other, or you have a group of different alphas, is one of them going to be the alpha, or, are all of them alphas, and just all kinds of stuff, right? And so I wouldn't get overly caught up in that nonsense. Instead, I would just find something that works for you, right? Like masculine feminine is one that I think is really, really valuable, especially for women. I think that, getting into alpha beta, whether you're alpha beta as a woman or something, or he's alpha beta, I wouldn't jump into that because I don't think that's overly valuable model of looking at human behavior for women when it comes to dating and relationships. Song Jin Pichong says, I love you. Well, thank you, Song. I love your first name, and I love you too. So thank you, Song, for being here. Regina says, thank you. I have been curious since I know you travel a lot. I do travel a lot. I travel all the time. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mandy says, best way to get past trauma in a toxic relationship, currently in a divorce and want a new start scared of me reacting to trauma responses. Well, if you are getting divorced, I wouldn't get the best thing that you can do is focus on healing yourself. And there's a bunch of different things that you can look at. One of my recommendations is my own content, listening to my videos over and over and over again, because I talk about a lot of these things. Some of my meditations that I have, I think are really, really powerful. But what you really need to do is you need to change the meaning that you have from events from your past. And because the meaning that we make about events in our lives determines the entire rest of our life. And so for instance, right? So for instance, I had two parents who, my mom, when I was younger, she like took me over to my dad's house one day when I was about 13 and just left me there and never came back for me. Right. And then my dad like sent me to go to this psychiatric ward because he thought that I was like crazy and he wanted to deprogram me. And then when I was out of it, he sent me to go live with my grandma. Right. And so I felt like I was abandoned by my parents and I didn't deserve love and all these kinds of things. Right. And that kind of took me through most of my life. So most of my life, I spent trying to prove that I was worthy of love. And so I accomplished all kinds of things, right? I was a Navy SEAL. I, graduated top of my class and in college, university. I, was the biggest student leader at the college. Won all these awards and stuff. I like got deep into different things and, built a successful business. I, got in really, really good shape and, figured out all these things in my life because I was trying to prove that I was worthy of love. Well, I can still do all those things, especially now that I've developed the habit of like being an achiever. But instead of doing things in my life to try to prove that I was worthy, because what happens is if you're constantly doing that, you never feel worthy, right? There's always a next level. There's always something else. Doesn't matter how much money you have, how much success you have, how much you can do all kinds of things. You never actually feel worthy. And so my question was like, how can I like experience my life from feeling worthy now, accomplishing and creating whatever I want, but making my next phase of life about loving life, about filling my life with joy and passion and excitement and love and, living my life just happy, being happy all the time and coming from a place where I'm feeling like I'm enough and then deciding what I want my life to be about. And the best way to do that, because if you just try to like reframe and just go from that place, it's really, really difficult because you have this past that haunts you. And so you have to go back to the past and look at the events. You don't have to experience them if you don't want to. But what you should do is reframe what the events meant to you. And so one of the ways that you do that is by looking at the event and saying, instead of, my parents left me and, that means that I'm not worthy of love and I was abandoned. What if I look at my life and realize that this was a challenge, that this was the universe or God or, whatever you believe in. It was its way of challenging me to grow and be bigger and be stronger so that I can help a lot of people in the world. And when you can get into that stuff and come from that point of view, and one of the things that I realized was that I was born in love. When I was born, like most of my life was filled with love. And then I hit that part when I was 13. And, instead of making my life be defined by the 13 years before that, where it was filled with love and joy and happiness and connection and togetherness from my family, I made the rest of my life about that one moment, right? That one moment where, I felt like I was abandoned by my parents, where I felt like I wasn't loved, where I felt like I wasn't enough. And so I changed the meaning of the event and I took the story from the previous part of my life. And then I said, okay, what do I want my story to be about now? Most of my life, I felt like my story was like this struggle. It was a struggle to succeed, and then at some point it was like this comeback story, right? I was knocked down and I was, coming back, which is a great story to have, right? But a better story is maybe a romantic comedy or like an adventure, right? That's the kind of story I have now. It's an adventure. My life is an adventure, and I'm just, going through life, experiencing just tons of different things and meeting lots of cool people and connecting with lots of cool people and just living my life and building and growing and living my life. And so that's kind of my suggestion on what you do is you reframe the events that kind of limit you, and you create a new meaning about your life up until now, and then you decide what your story is going to be from now on. And that's usually the best way. I know that was probably a long-winded answer. I hope that was valuable to a lot of people that are here. That's valuable to you. Say yes in the chat. And if you want to check out my new program, the Forever Man, it is available for a short period of time. If you want to check it out, there's a link. I'm posting it in the chat right now. You can go check it out there. Olivia says, I finally caught you live. Well, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. I love you. Won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you. Let me jump in your game. Brenda says, I need your advice, please. I met a guy on Facebook. We dated like 1 year without meeting each other. That was 2019. Early 2020, I decided to meet him since he insisted that he going to marry me. I really loved him. When I came to meet him, that was my first day to see him. He got me pregnant, and we were blessed with a baby girl. And we are living together till date. But I came to realize later he impregnated and took her home. He could take me before he could take me. Already has sent letter to girl's parent. Not getting the rest of the thing going on there, but it sounds like a very, very complicated situation there, Brenda. If you can post the rest of that so that we can see it, I will answer the rest of that question. Regina said, not doing it, promise. Lona says, so is being on a dating site considered chasing? Why would being on a dating site be considered chasing? I don't know. I don't know why you're saying that. Not sure why you're saying that, Lona. Sylvia says, makes sense. I'm an independent woman who takes care of myself and likes to invest in the people I love. And it did not turn out well for my relationship. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you have to make sure that you're building it together. Got to make sure you're building it together. And also another thing I want to mention, Sylvia, since we're talking about that, because this is one of the things I talk about in the program, in the Forever Man program. If you want to check it out at the links in the comments section in the chat, is that everybody has needs, right? We have emotional needs, and some needs we care about more than others. And a lot of women, they give a man everything that they want to receive, or everything they think that a man wants, or something like that. And usually most men only need a few things. And if you're giving everything to a man and he's not appreciating you, then you're probably giving him the wrong things. And you need to stop doing that. And instead find out what it is that he wants and needs, and only give him those things. And stop giving him everything that you think that he wants, or that you want to give to him, right? So I hope that makes sense there, Sylvia. And check out my program. Check out my program if you haven't. Olivia says, I just got here. What is the subject for asking questions? You are asking whatever questions you want to, Olivia, and I am answering. That's what the subject is. That's what the subject is. Michaela says, in LDR breakup, your ex is chasing you and even cry in front of you though through VC. He just wanted to get back together. However, after days continuing talk, I think he got contented with that. He got contented with what? I'm not sure what you're saying. He stopped chasing you. What you want is long-term consistency. You want him to prove to you that you're going to be together. And if he's not going to prove to you long-term consistently with that, you shouldn't get back together with him at all. Just don't do it. Just don't do it, Michaela. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you. Don't you. Don't you. Whoa. Whoa. Marity says, you're cute and funny singer. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mandy says, I love y'all humor. Forever. Forever. Boom. Sarah says, but my heart is broken. He was so good at first. And right now, he's not. While he's online, his snap score goes up a lot and he shows his location, but he doesn't send me anything. Is that ghosting? Stop paying attention to his snapping score and all that kind of stuff. Just get off social media, people. Just stop stalking. What you're doing right now, Sarah, is stalking him on social media. And you want to stop doing that immediately. And stop trying to figure out what's going on with his snap score and all that kind of stuff. And just leave him alone. If he wants to get a hold of you, he will. And if he's not getting a hold of you and you're not in a committed relationship, which it sounds like you're not, what you should be doing is dating other people and living your best life. And if he's not sending you stuff, don't even worry about him. That's what you need to be doing. And don't get overly in, because right now what you are is overly invested in him. And you're not in a relationship, and it doesn't sound like you're getting into a relationship. And so my suggestion is that you stop doing that immediately. Stop doing it, Sarah. Just stop it. Just stop it. Start valuing yourself. Start loving yourself. Start creating yourself. Tanya says, you're hilarious. Just never get your message. Always commentary, but it definitely funny and she's like, I don't know what you're saying, Matt. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it's funny. You may be a silly and strange same time as me. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. Sniffing from when you were talking about meeting in person and smelling the pheromones. All right. So if you haven't checked out my program yet, go check it out at the Forever. It's the Forever Man. You can get it. You can check it out. See if you want it. It's my best work. It's the coolest stuff. You will, if you want to attract a great man, an amazing man into a committed, lasting relationship where he just loves you and he sees you and cherishes you, go check out my program. And that is it. That's it for today. I got to get going, everybody. I got to go floss my cat's teeth, but I will speak with you again soon. So check out my program. And I think you're awesome. I think you guys are absolutely awesome. Thanks for being with here, and thanks for talking with me. I will speak with you again soon. And always remember, you are worth it. So have a good night, have a good day, have a good morning.